Hello, listeners. Just me and you at the moment. Cleves has gone to get another beer. While I have you here, let's just discuss whether he brings anything to the podcast. I doubt it, but even a bicycle has two wheels. But if we had a tricycle, that'd be even better. Or a unicycle. I like unicycle.
You're just talking to yourself.
I was talking to the listeners.
Loser. Hi, I'm Tony and I talk to myself again.
I was talking to the listeners. How dare you?
To the listeners?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
You have to find out on the edit.
It is what it is. Are you good now?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Warning, this podcast may contain bad language and themes that some listeners may find...
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
I'm so close. I have it in my head and then I just forget.
Do you want to do it again?
Warning, this podcast may contain bad language and themes that some listeners may find offensive. Welcome to the Seesaw Podcast with T and Cleves.
Each week, offering up a blurry perspective on life. How are things, Cleves?
Fine. Other than your comments.
Other than my comments.
Yeah, I just don't think there's not a place for them in today's society.
So we're not going to bring up the fact that you've been attempting to make Hitler a running thing.
Firstly, I didn't make that. I haven't attempted it. It's just kind of naturally come up.
I think that speaks a lot of volumes about your personality.
Yeah, the thing is, right, I haven't brought it up. You're the one that... I brought it up like week 1 and last week. You're the one that's brought it up since.
I guess.
Yeah.
Just a PSA, we don't advocate Hitler.
We don't. He's a racist. Or was a racist. I'm assuming he's dead.
I'm assuming he's dead. But you never know. There's some freaks out there who think Elvis is still alive, so you never know.
He didn't die, he just went home. We've all seen Men in Black.
Spoiler alert, they've had aliens. So you know what else has aliens? And this brings us on to the topic of the week.
Abe's Odyssey.
Yes. And also...
Jam and Earl.
Yes. Well, they are aliens. Also, Alien Isolation, which has alien in the name. And that's a game. Yeah, it is.
All right.
But not a game I can play. Or you would be able to play.
You don't know that.
I can guarantee you won't be able to play it.
What is it?
It's based after the films. And I think you play
what
as...
films? Let's
the Alien
there.
films.
The
Alien films.
Actually, that's where you're wrong. Because I had Alien 3 on SNES. And I used to play that.
Yeah, but we're talking about a game that came out, 2 years ago?
Well...
Dark as balls, man. Dark as balls. And the whole game revolves around you avoiding the alien, which is in the shadows. And it's a one-hit kill. So if it sees you, you're dead. It's game over.
Have you actually researched this game?
Yes.
You played it?
I haven't played it, but I've seen other people play it. Like, I've had a look on videos on YouTube, and it's I can't even see it when other people are looking around and go, "Oh shit, it's over there." I'm like, "What? What's over there?"
The alien. You just said it.
Well, yeah, it's the alien, but I can't see what's there.
Anyway, this is the point. I played Alien 3, so that's one more Alien game than you've got under your belt.
I have also played Alien 3.
Bullshit. If you played Alien 3, how does the game start?
It starts off. All I remember is you go into little. You go into the vents. You can go through the vents and go up and down ladders.
You played it. I got it.
Yeah.
You win this round.
You're damn right I do. So if you haven't guessed, this week we're talking about gaming because, of course, we've got to get that gaming market.
Well, I thought you were talking about aliens.
Oh, alien games.
We're not doing specifically alien games.
No, but I was going to segue.
Go on. Seg away.
Segueing from alien games to games in general.
Right.
So that's the topic this week. We're going to talk games, video games primarily, board games.
Board games?
I have got one...
That wasn't that... You did not say board games. You said games, and we spoke briefly about video games. At no point did you say board games.
But I'm clarifying that we're talking about video games, not board games.
You said board games just then, like,
Yeah.
right, we're going to talk about board games.
No, I said we're not going to talk about board games.
You didn't say that.
Right, we'll see what the edit says.
What I'm going to say, yeah, I'll edit it to make it look like you.
Yeah, I know you will. Okay, so games, video games. So, what's your first experience? What's the first console you had, please?
I had a NES.
An NES.
Mrs. Nesbit. You see the hat?
Did you get a hat as well?
I didn't. But
That's unfortunate.
NESs were weird, weren't they? Because they were mainly for nerds at the time.
How did you get one?
I was a nerd.
I'm not going to say you're not.
Do you know what? I have no idea how I picked up my NES. Like, I couldn't tell you. But it appeared in my house one day with the big old fat cartridges, like the size of your face, that you slotted in and pushed down. And I had a right old good time.
How old were you?
4, 5.
4 or 5?
I guess maybe I might have been a bit older than that.
Lucky luck boy.
I don't honestly, I have no idea where it turned up from. I remember getting a SNES. I remember getting a SNES for Christmas, but the actual NES that I first started with, no idea. We had one of those cassette machines as well. I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was an Atari or what it was. But,
Commodore, usually.
It might have been.
Commodore
yeah.
64.
It was really shocking though. I never really played that.
When games came on cassettes.
Yeah.
I mean, like kids today don't even know that like music used to go on cassettes.
Yeah, that's become a thing again, hasn't it? Like people are starting to produce stuff on tape again now.
That's weird.
I never understood that. I mean, you get good sound on vinyl, whereas tape was just wank sound, and half the time that the cassette player used to just chew it up and spit it out, and you've lost your music.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't think there's nostalgia there.
Well, I don't know. Apparently there is.
Well, maybe we'll release this episode on tape.
No one's listening as it is.
That's a lie. I've got the analytics here. Some people listen, okay?
That's just me and you listening to it back.
Yeah, on every device I own. So what games did you have?
I had Mario 1, the original Mario.
Yeah.
I used to have this crappy racing game that was like a sort of rally racing game. Shocking. Had the original Donkey Kong. Well, not the original one, but the ones where you went up and down the ropes as actual Donkey Kong. Yeah,
that was Donkey Kong.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You just had to say original Donkey Kong.
Yeah, no, but I was thinking of the one where you're Mario and you jump over the barrels. That one. I can't really remember any other games that I had on the NES. They were all pretty. Oh, I think I might have had Castlevania. Was that on the NES, the first one?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking, wasn't it?
How far did you get in that? Because that's quite difficult to see.
Oh, I was alright back then, though. I was a kid. I wasn't even blind at that point. I could see everything. Games were easy. Sight was easy. Hadn't become blind by then. So that was all good. How about you? What was your first cartridge? Console?
Was a Sega Master System.
Alex the Kid built in.
Alex the Kid built in.
Yes.
I had that.
Classic. Rock, paper, scissors on the final level. Fucks you over.
The final level? Good luck into the final level. Such a difficult game.
It was ridiculously difficult.
But back then, it was all about the games aren't long, so they have to make them really hard. Because that's the only way that you could get any longevity out of it.
Hey, sometimes they were long and hard. Why are you laughing?
No reason. I just thought of a completely unrelated joke.
What, with the words long and hard in?
Yes.
Right, okay, go on.
I was thinking of Dolph Aldrin. London, that's what I meant. Dolph London. He's long and hard.
Okay.
And probably full of semen.
Okay.
So yeah, Sega Master System. I only had 2 games. Alex the Kid.
That was built in. That doesn't count as a game. That's the console. You got console. You had one game then.
Completely counts as a game. And Sonic the Hedgehog.
Classic. Yeah.
Did okay with Alex the Kid, just because of contrast, high contrast. Unlike you, Mr. I've had full sight at some point in my eyes. I was fucked from day one, so not as bad as I was now, like I am now, but still not fantastic. So Sonic was a bit difficult for me. Blue sky, blue character.
Green Hill
in the zone. Kind of blended in. so I wasn't too great at that.
How are you now? Because occasionally when we get wasted, we play Green Hill Run Through.
But that's on Mega Drive.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's a bit more bright and vibrant. The Master System one is really washed out.
Okay.
Like ridiculous.
Sure that wasn't your TV at the time?
It was everyone's TV at the time. Yeah, back in the day where if you were going to rob a TV, you could only rob one. Nowadays, you could steal like 3 or 4 TVs because they're all flat screen. Back then, like your weight limit in your car would be 1 TV. Wouldn't even be that big.
Yeah, if you're going to rob a house, you better do it with sack trucks.
Yeah, back then, like every appliance like weighed the same as like a Ford Focus. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, in itself, that was its anti-theft device.
Yeah, I had to look at the stats, but I imagine that does have something to do with thefts.
Now they have that spray goo that goes off when you grab something.
Spray goo.
Yeah, you know, like you grab something and then it like sprays this stuff all over it and it like watermarks everything.
Oh yeah, I know the sort. Like ink.
Yeah, invisible ink.
Yeah.
Spray goo.
Yeah. There is a way around it with clothes, but I won't say it on the podcast. I don't want to encourage theft.
Freeze that spray goo.
So you just gave it away there.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's not a good anti-theft device.
No, it's really not.
Alright, so what did you have after the Master System?
After the Master System, I had a Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis, for those who are not in the UK. The funny thing with that is we got that for Christmas. Me, my older brother, one of my younger brothers, he was really young at the time, like 1 year old. And
was it his present as well?
It was a joint present for all of us. And
he wouldn't have known it was his present at the time. He would just want a rattle or something.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He got a giant. I remember this.
You can shake the cartridge box around.
He got an aeroplane, like one of these, like an aeroplane that you ride it, like on wheels, like one of these big plastic things.
Yeah.
I remember that distinctly because he always used to topple over sideways constantly.
This kid's 1.
He got a little bit older.
Okay, right.
It wasn't a big aeroplane.
Yeah, no, but he's the 1 year old. He's not going to be teetering around all that much, is he?
I don't know. Maybe it's for when he was a little bit less stupid. I don't know. I can't remember.
Walk more.
Yeah.
He was a bit older. Is that what you said?
Yeah, older.
So not 1.
No.
Okay, fine.
So, and that's a Mega Drive. With that, we had like.
What was the point of the plane thing?
The plane thing, he just used to fall over. It was hilarious.
Oh,
that's the thing. He just used to topple over for no reason.
I thought this had something to do with the Mega Drive thing.
No, nothing to do with that.
Okay, fine.
With the Mega Drive, we used to have we had a 3-in-1 sort of cartridge. I used to have Sonic on it, Streets of Rage 1, and Shinobi.
Versus Dragon Ninja?
I don't know if that was the one. It was the first Shinobi.
Versus Dragon Ninja?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
There's also a song by a band.
Okay.
Guess what the band was called?
Shinobi versus Dragon Ninja?
Nope. Lost Prophets.
Oh. My second guess was going to be the Oakley Dokleys.
One substantially worse than the other.
So, with this console, we loved it. But looking back now, my parents were suspiciously good at it when you play multiplayer with them. Turns out that this wasn't something they bought for our Christmas and then boxed it up. They then bought it like 3 months before Christmas and every night would set it up and then completed all the games multiple times before boxing it back up and then getting it just for Christmas.
I mean, you don't want to be worse than your kids at technology, do you?
You don't, but imagine doing that to a kid now, like the whole getting them a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation 4 or 5 or whatever. And it's like, you can't have it till Christmas, but they don't know you already have it.
I would love that. If I was a parent, I would totally do that to my kids. Like, oh yeah, who knows with this like PS5 or like Switch or whatever. I'd go on there every night, get sick at the games, just so I could beat my kid down on that game.
The thing is, there must have been times where we went down for like a drink during the night and then like switch over to TV.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not sure whether my parents enjoyed the fact that I used to waste them on Street Fighter 2.
You are quite good at Street Fighter 2.
I put a lot of hours into that as a kid.
Was it the only game you had on SNES?
No. Actually, when I got my SNES, I did legit, because I was so into my NES, for the SNES, I did actually ask for it for Christmas. And I don't know what it was. As a kid, I was like, oh, I'll save the big present till last. But my parents had individually wrapped the games.
Yes.
So I unwrapped one. I think it was like Spider-Man versus X-Men or something, or Super Mario World or something like that. And I was like,
surprise.
It's a SNES game. I wonder what the big one could be.
That's fair enough.
Love the SNES. Oh, and I also, I used to have like the every town in the 90s had like a second-hand shop where you could basically go and trade stuff in. That second-hand shop would later become the place that shipped PlayStations. But at the time, it was a place where you could trade in your cartridge games.
Yeah.
So I took in all of like my NES cartridges and the NES console, and he was like, "Yeah, mate, no one wants these. I'll give you like 2 games for all of these cartridges." And I had maybe like 20 cartridges at the time. I was like,
"Wow,
fine, whatever." I was like, "What about the console?" He's like, "No, I don't even want a console."
Then you had a console with no games.
No, I had the console and I had the games. In the second-hand shop would take the games, but he didn't even want the console because no one wanted it.
Yeah, but then you take the console home and you've gone away with your games.
Yeah. But at least I got 2 SNES games. I was never going to play that NES again.
Fast forward 20 years, like that's collectible. That is.
Yeah, well, go check all of the landfills.
Let's imagine you just front out a window on the way home.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm doing none of this.
So let's move on to like where like the peak of your gaming history was. Where would you say that you really got into it?
Probably the gen after that. So when PlayStations and N64s came out, because that's when everyone started getting into gaming, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the NES was for the nerds, as we were on about. SNES was starting to be adopted by everyone, like SNES and Mega Drive. And then PlayStation came out and N64s, and everyone was like, yeah, like video games are awesome. Let's do this. So most people got PlayStation because they were so easily chipped. You get down, like say, down your local second-hand shop, £5, chip the games, chip the console, and then you get the games for £5. As opposed to the N64, which you had to keep continually buying the cartridges for, which were like £40 at the time. A lot of money at the time.
Yeah, it was.
And I had an N64. I mean, financially, not the best choice.
No.
Range of games, not the best choice.
I don't know. I think...
No, there wasn't the range of games there.
Not the range, but the quality, I would say, was there.
That was sick though, man. Everyone liked that about PlayStation. Easy to chip, cheap games, and then like you could have the length on games as well, because you had like Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8 with like 8 discs.
That's the thing. That's what caused like those companies to leave Nintendo. Nintendo lost a lot of companies as support because they'd come and say, "Oh, we want to put like Final Fantasy 7 on your Nintendo 64," and it worked. Like all the Final Fantasies up to that point had been on Nintendo consoles, and it's like it doesn't fit on the cartridge.
Nope. But
we can put it on multiple discs on PlayStation. Why not? So we had a PlayStation as well, but we were...
Did you really? Yeah. Did you have an N64 and PlayStation?
Yeah.
Oh, la-di-da, rich boy family.
The PlayStation was because my older brother wanted it, and the Nintendo 64 was because I wanted it. So we got Nintendo 64. Like we had some of the basic games, like Mario Kart and stuff like that, because I'm one of 4 boys, so it's a multiplayer console, isn't it?
Yep.
And then certain other games we acquired through weird ways. So we'd rented a lot of stuff down at like the video game shop, which is always fantastic when you get Mario 64. When you're a kid, that takes you like ages to complete. But you'd rent it over the weekend, and then you'd bring it back, put it in, and then you see all the save slots, and you go, "Oh, there's 4 save slots with different kids' names on them. Delete. I don't know why we did it.
You did it with Ocarina as well. You used to be able to renew the rental, didn't you, as well? But
yeah, and keep it forever.
Kids these days don't understand the joys / trauma of that.
Yeah. I mean, I got Zelda Ocarina of Time with the world's most unfair trade ever. It was a friend who had Zelda Ocarina of Time, and he really wanted to play the terrible Mission Impossible game for Nintendo 64. I think I picked it up for £5 in the bargain bin.
Wow. Even at the time, that's bad.
And then he was like, "Oh, do you want to swap for a while?" I'm like, "Yeah, let me buy Zelda." So I got that, just deleted all the saves immediately.
It sounds like a dick thing to do, but that's what you did as a time as a kid, didn't you? That was like a little power move, like delete.
The thing is, I wasn't too bothered because Mission Impossible used the memory card, so I knew if when I got mine back, I'd still have my save games.
Oh, fair.
So his was deleted and mine wasn't. But then he moved away, and he forgot that I had his copy of Zelda, and I won that trade.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I won that trade. One of the greatest games of all time.
Yep.
And I traded it for a £5 Mission Impossible on Nintendo 64.
There's a reason it was £5.
It was awful. It's just broken and shit. Yeah, we had a PlayStation as well. And a PS2.
Do you know what, right? N64 was like golden era as well because I could see all those games and I was getting pretty sick of them. It was about the sort of PS2 time that my site started to go.
Yeah.
So I could still play PS2 games. I was still pretty much bob on there. But that was the last console that I could genuinely see and kick ass at.
Yeah, I'd say that's... Even then, certain things on the N64 I struggled with. Certain games I couldn't complete because of the site. It had to be slower sort of games.
Right.
I completed Ocarina of Time, completed Mario 64. Then games like GoldenEye, like James Bond GoldenEye, I'd have to put cheats on because I just can't see the enemies.
Well, it slowed down for you because the lag on that game was so bad.
Oh, yes.
Especially if you had 4 people. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I never played multiplayer on that. It wasn't enjoyable. Even now, I think we tried not too long ago.
Perfect Dark was solid because it kind of just...
Oh, we tried that recently.
Yeah, but it wasn't...
And I got lost and didn't know where I was.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, in terms of lag, it was alright.
Yeah, like you said, PlayStation 2 is probably where it started going downhill for me in quite a major way.
I could still play all the PS2 games. I was pretty much there on that. It was when PS3 started to roll around. That's when a lot of games just... I couldn't play them anymore. Graphics got too good, man.
That's the thing. The worst thing that ever happened was like shadows and stuff like that.
Too many textures on landscapes.
Yeah, funny enough, that is true. Like the textures are what sort of ruined it for me. It's just overcomplication, which you've got to move forward.
Because people want realistic games.
They do, but I can't play them.
We used to play Nazi Zombies on COD 3.
When you say play, we didn't play like in a way that anyone else like full side would do. Like my brother-in-law with my wife would play that and get to like level 40, level 50, like waves. Like
yeah, we did. If you take out 40 and say 14.
I think the best we did was like 10.
Fuck off. I mean, better than that.
It didn't subtract the enjoyment from it. I still enjoyed playing it until we kept booting it back up again. But we wouldn't like... You've got to find your own enjoyment. Like, you're not going to get the enjoyment.
You've got to make your own games, you know?
Basically, you're not going to get to the level that other people are going to get, but you can always have some fun with it.
We used to play Worms a lot. Worms Armageddon, mate, on PS3. That game was the tits.
It was really good. Although very frustrating.
Yeah, because we all used to gang up on you.
Yeah, within one or two turns, I was eliminated. I was just going to get a beer. To the point where people would go from one side of the map to the other side of the map using jetpacks just to knock me into water.
Whoa. There's no point using jetpacks when you've got a limited ninja rope.
Yeah, that was a poor choice.
A limited ninja rope, drop a dynamite, and off we fuck.
Yep. And I was eliminated immediately.
Yeah.
I like to think it's because I'm so fucking awesome that you just had to get rid of me.
Either that or you were cunty about winning.
Nah,
and you used to get victimised.
Little bit of column A and column B, I think. But the thing is, when you're brought up in a household of like competitive men, when you win something, you do become a sore winner because you just want to rub it in the faces of your brothers. You know what I mean? You really want to like stick it to them, like I smashed all of you, because you're also evenly matched with things. It's a big thing to win in a competitive game. Yeah. I think that just translates down the line. You can become a sore winner because winning was such a big thing in the house. Like you win Mario Kart, it was always like really competitive. Like,
I never had that in mind, to be fair. I only have a sister and the only thing she really used to play was like Dance Dance Revolution.
But you could have beat her in at that.
I could have, but I'm not a dancer.
Nah, you're not.
I'm human, I'm not a dancer.
What a terrible lyric. So you sort of stopped after the PS3, didn't you? Playing games.
I didn't buy any more consoles after that. Like, to be fair, even my PS3, I pretty much just used it as like a media player. I never really had that many games on it, or if I did, I used to get a lot of the older games.
Well, the only benefit you found from it is something we'll come on to in a little bit. But I had an Xbox One and didn't get on with it. Sold it. Had a Wii U. Sold it.
It just sounds like you've wasted a lot of money here.
The thing is, I am like a gamer at heart. I like video games, and I'm stubborn with it.
Clearly,
because it's kind of what I see in the same way that you have music as your hobby.
Yeah. But I'd have to see to do music.
True, but as my sight gets worse, I'm just stubborn about the fact that I will continue to enjoy this hobby I used to have, with mixed results. Some very pricey mixed results.
Why did you go to a PS4 after those consoles?
I went to the PS4 over the Xbox because, firstly, there were games on it that my wife wanted to play. She loves to play some games. And then there were like family members, other friends had a PS4 as opposed to the Xbox as well.
Right.
So it just made sense to just make that change. It didn't really cost me that much once you trade in.
Were you pretty much like a gold member at CEX?
Pretty much.
Oh, Tony, you're back. What do you want to trade in this time?
Yeah, pretty much. But it leveled out. So even though I really am into my games still, there's a lot that I can't play. I have quite a lot of games that I haven't completed or got that far in, just because I just can't see them.
Like what?
I know there's one you want me to mention.
Yeah, no, I want you to talk about The Witcher.
The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3. I don't know what the game's like, but I'm maybe 4 books into The Witcher and I've seen the Netflix series, so I've got a rough idea of what it's about.
Well, you know more than me then.
The Witcher 3? Oh, really? I thought, with The Witcher 3 and your various copies, shall we say. How many copies was it?
4.
4 copies. Okay. You must have really loved the game.
I wanted to love the game.
What was the first copy you bought?
First copy I bought was the Xbox One version.
And why did you get rid of it?
The reason I got rid of that was I couldn't really see it, but I think this was also at the time where I was trading in for the PS4, so of course it went with
the Xbox, right.
It went with the Xbox.
But you couldn't play it anyway?
Not really.
Was that one of the issues you had with Xbox, in that you couldn't see a lot of the game, so you thought, screw it, I'll trade it in?
Yeah, partly.
Okay.
Partly.
Fine, what was the second copy? I'm assuming PS4.
Yes, PS4.
Wait, so you couldn't see the Xbox version, so you thought, PS4, that'll be different.
It was on offer, and I thought, I'll give it another go. PS4 is a little bit more powerful, maybe it has more options, so I gave it a purchase, gave it a second chance. Always give something a second chance.
Right.
Couldn't see it, so that's on my PS4 at the moment. Can't play it.
Okay. Oh, have you still got it?
Oh, I still got it.
Oh, maybe we should give that a bash.
Well, you can feel free. If you don't want to play that one, you can play the other one of the other 2 versions I've got.
Oh, okay. What was the third version then?
Third version is on PC.
Right, and you still got that as well?
Yes, technically.
Your thought? Why did you buy on PC?
Because I thought with the accessibility features and magnification, I might be able to see it better.
And I'm assuming you couldn't, considering you bought a 4th copy.
So the reason I couldn't with the PC was every time I tried to use my magnifier, it would just crash Steam, which is like the client to play games. It would just crash it completely. So that was a write-off.
Okay. And so you bought it as a 4th time on
Nintendo Switch.
Right.
This one was I would have the option between playing, because like the graphics were lessened, so I thought it'd be a bit more blocky. A little bit more simple design,
easy to,
which would help. I also was like, okay, it's a handheld and a console, so I've got
so you can get it right up to your face.
Yeah, so I've got 2 variations I can potentially go for.
Yeah.
No,
nope.
not doable, unfortunately.
What was it about it that you couldn't play? Was it the darkness of it? Is it a dark game?
It is at times, but the menus are ridiculously small.
Right.
Ludicrously so. The textures are a big issue.
Right.
Like some of the textures all over the place. It was too much hard work. If I persevered, I probably could have.
Yeah, but you don't want to just play a game and be a bore. You want to get the basics down, and then it'd be difficult because the game's difficult.
Yeah, and that's what my issue was. That's why I sort of stopped, because it was.
Well, you didn't stop there, did you? Because you stopped buying it 4 times. Arguably, you should have stopped after 2. So arguably after 1, if I'm honest, but probably 2.
So if anyone wants to buy a copy of The Witcher 3, you can reach us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com.
Can they buy it though? Have you got physical copies?
No.
So they can't. So they can't buy it.
You ruined my joke, you jerk.
Are you selling your consoles with them on? Is that what you're doing?
Oh, I could probably do with some money at the moment.
Have to fund the seesaw lifestyle.
Yeah, I need some seesaws. So let's move on to a game that we shouldn't have been able to play, but we did.
Yeah. Fun time finisher.
Yeah, let's go on to something a bit fun.
Last of Us 2. How good was that game?
Really good.
People rag on it, and we kind of ragged on it by the end a little bit. But
yeah,
in terms of blinkers being able to see it, that game's sick.
I think that's what makes me overlook a lot of the criticisms of it.
Yeah, me too.
So we're not going to talk about the criticisms, of course. The
ending kind of sucks. Let's just say.
The ending does kind of suck. Even knowing all the criticisms of the game, I kind of overlook all of that.
Yeah. The fact that we're able to play it and enjoy it was awesome.
Yeah. Well done, Naughty Dog. It's just leaps and bounds above what other developers and companies are doing. Whereas they'll put the bare minimum into accessibility. But Naughty Dog were no matter what the situation, we're going to make it so you can play this.
Yeah, they reckoned a blind person, a fully blind person, completed that game, didn't they?
A fully blind person has completed it. It's on YouTube. You can watch a Let's Play of a totally blind person complete the game.
Okay, well then, fair play. But it has got some great features, hasn't it? Everything's good. I mean, the menus talk to you. The best thing about that game is that it points you in the direction of the goal in the way that you need to go.
Yeah.
And it will direct you around obstacles to get to that goal.
Yeah, and reorient you to that. It's not just, it flashes something on the screen.
Yeah.
A lot of games have maps, but it's you press a button, it's that's the direction you need to be walking. And you can tap it again, it goes, okay, now you have to go this way.
This one will physically point you that way.
And that's so valuable.
Yep.
Ridiculously so. And even things like just making, not even easier, but having situations where, for example, if you lie down flat on the floor, enemies can't see you.
Yeah.
And okay, you can use that. We did a couple of naughty things that we probably shouldn't have been allowed to do. At the same time, it allows you time to survey your surroundings. Because if it wasn't for that feature, by the time we even know what is around us and spend that time looking around, you're dead, you're discovered, you're being shot at, you're dead.
Yeah.
And that's when frustration sets in. You think, well, this is stupid. I don't even know where I am, let alone where the enemies are. So it didn't affect my enjoyment of the game.
No.
Did it make combat easier? Yes, but that's not what I want the challenge. I don't want the challenge there.
Well, I don't know. You still want the challenge a bit.
You do a bit, but there were a couple of situations where we had a bit of a challenge and we overcame it, and that was good.
Yeah, we had to restart a few times, didn't we, on certain bits?
Yeah, but that's fine. It was never because the game was out and out too difficult.
Yeah, if we had to redo it, it's because the game had a difficult segment. It wasn't because we couldn't see to do it.
Yeah, there's one.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, there's one boss fight that was quite difficult, and it was quite dark. But when you aim down your gun, it will point at your enemy and give you sound based on where you're pointing.
Yeah.
Is it at the head? Is it at the body? And it will have a different tone of sound.
That's a good thing. They had so many audible cues for that game. It was great.
Yeah.
You knew when enemies were dead, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You knew when there were items around to pick up.
And again, it would, if you wanted to, it would direct you to those items.
Exactly. And it's just how easy it made it to play. I didn't have to sit bang in front of the TV. You could sit on the couch and relax and still have a decent playing experience.
Yep.
Like, no concessions will necessary to do it and work around it. I hope
put those options in other games.
Yeah, I hope that this is a trend that's going to go forward. I hope this isn't just like they know what like car manufacturers do a concept car, and they never want to make it. They'll make one copy of this car,
the Homer Simpson bubble car.
Yeah, basically. But they'll never make anything else. I just hope that this isn't one of those situations. I want to see these features in everything going forward.
I feel with Naughty Dog, at least, they've made the features now, so all they got to do is transfer them into other games.
Yeah, I agree. But they should be in every game. And a lot of companies, they do have to do better. For how good Naughty Dog were with putting all of those features in that game, some are shocking. Nintendo
are notoriously bad for it, and Capcom as a company as well, aren't they?
Yeah. When they don't even have subtitles as an accessibility option, then you've got an issue. Now, granted, subtitles don't matter to me, but to someone who's deaf,
screwed.
Yeah. Like, why subtitles not the bare? That's the bare minimum you expect. It's just shame on Nintendo. I love Nintendo as a company. I love the games.
But normally their games are so like blocky and colourful. That's kind of where they get away with it, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, but they're so family orientated. They're so we want everyone to be able to play our games, but apparently not the disabled.
Nah.
Because they don't put the features in there.
Why would they want to play games?
So they got to get better. There's some companies that are doing better, but we're not there yet.
Getting better. I hear Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man game, has got some decent options in it.
When it's on offer, I will probably get it and we'll try it. But not until it's on offer. Because I don't want to be Witchered again. And I think the issue I have is we're moving to a really digital age as well. This is another thing that I will put out about like modern gaming. You can't get a refund if it's not accessible. Especially now that the pandemic's happened and you can't go out and necessarily get stuff like go to game shops and things. You can get it on Amazon, but like with digital games, it's so hard to get a refund. You'll get a refund from Nintendo, it just doesn't happen. Good luck. You work from Sony, it's like a form, like 2 or 3 forms. Even then, like the options are like so limited. I tried to get my money back for The Witcher, and it's like one of the options wasn't accessible. And a lot of the time they'll have a thing in place where if you play a certain amount of time on a game,
so not necessarily like how far you get on it, but like hours put in.
Yeah. So that's what tripped me up on the PlayStation one when I tried to get my money back. It was you played 2 hours of this, so you don't get a refund. So it's not like it's a 100-hour game. I'm not completing it in 2 hours and getting my money's worth.
Yeah.
But that's their policy. Once you've paid a certain amount, and there's no budging on that. But it is getting better.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Like we were saying the other day, if more games came out like The Last of Us with those accessibility options, then we'd probably invest in like a PS5 or something.
But at present, not interested in the next generation. Not unless there's a reason for me to go there.
Hopefully it will.
Hopefully.
I'm quietly confident it'll get better.
I am. Better. I want to keep up with this hobby.
Yeah, be stubborn about it.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you'll have like 10 copies of Resident Evil 3.
Nah. Not my kind of game.
Too many stars.
Too many stars.
Alright, you want to leave it there for now?
Yeah, I think this was a lot better than the first one. Better than the first time.
And if you didn't like this one, just imagine what the first one was.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Garbage. I started talking about Kirby a lot in the first one.
Yeah, you did.
I like Kirby. He sucks people off.
You mean up?
Yeah, whatever. Off, in, up. Point is, he does a lot of sucking. I used to love Kirby as well, actually. That game was pretty sick.
We're not going into Kirby. That's one of the reasons that the first episode wasn't usable.
But I love Kirby. Kirby was awesome.
So on that, we'll leave it.
All right. I'll see you next week.
Yep. See you next week. The theme is a surprise.
Oh, he's brought back the surprise.
Yep.
Here's some social media plugs. And guess what? I made a little outro jingle, and it's pretty crappy, but here it is.
Yeah, so you'll make the jingle this week.
The jingle's... Well, yeah, I was going to make it last week. The thing is, I was on a bit of a tight schedule to get the editing done last week, because I normally do it on a Sunday night. And I kind of got lazy and just ordered myself a takeaway.
So you're not on a tight schedule. You caused the tight schedule.
It's still pretty tight, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
But still, yeah, I made it worse for myself. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But now here it is. And it still sounds crappy, but outro.
Do we still need to do our plugs?
No, because they're on the outro.
Excellent. All right, see you later.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Seesaw Podcast.
You can find us on Facebook at Seesaw Podcast, Twitter, Seesaw Pod. You can email us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on TikTok and Instagram at Seesaw Podcast or Seesaw Pod, depending on which one we want. But get us on the other places. This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience.